Question 1 on the November ballot may be getting all the attention right now, but there is another question that aims to amend the state constitution.
The legislature passed it by more than 2/3 majority, and now the right to food is in the hands of voters. Question 3 asks, do you favor amending the Constitution of Maine to declare that all individuals have a natural, inherent, and unalienable right to grow, raise, harvest, produce, and consume the food of their own choosing for their own nourishment, sustenance, bodily health, and well-being? Well, what exactly does this all mean?
News Center Maine's Jackie Mundry has some food for thought.
Maine has 2 laws that allow you to grow and raise your own food: the Maine Food Sovereignty Act and the Maine Agriculture Protection Act. But now we will be voting on whether to take this a step further and become the first state in the U.S. to make food cultivation a constitutional right.
For people to have that ability and that right to feed themselves without going to a grocery store if they so choose.
Those against this constitutional amendment aren't saying that we don't have a right to food, but they believe the amendment, as it's written, would open a troublesome can of worms.
They would repeal local and state regulations because constitutional law preempts local and state law.
We're very concerned with the vagueness of the language. We're not sure what it does.
Julianne Smith is the executive director of the Maine Farm Bureau Association. She and several other groups against this amendment argue this is dangerous.
Without soil testing, without water testing, without seed testing, we go back to the days of severe foodborne illness outbreaks.
Animal rights groups say the same about raising animals for food.
Essentially, as written, it would open the door to people being able to do whatever they want in the name of their constitutional rights when it comes to farm animal care and husbandry.
State Representative Billy Bob Fockingham sponsored the amendment this time around. He says constitutional declarations are supposed to be vague.
It's not like legislation. It's very detailed and you know, goes into all kinds of sort of things. And what this does is this basically says that we as a people believe that people have the right to feed themselves.
Fockingham says concerns about abusing these rights were already considered by the legislature before Question 3 reached the ballot.
Their concerns were heard, they were registered, and they were rejected by 3/4 of the legislature because they were unfounded.
The full amendment does include language that guarantees the right to food, as long as there is no trespassing, theft, poaching, or other abuses of private property rights, public lands, or natural resources. Scott Bloomberg is a constitutional law professor at Maine Law.
Cities and the state, for that matter, can continue to regulate food however they want, so long as their regulations of food don't conflict with the right to food, if that is added to the Constitution.
He adds that it is up to the courts to weigh regulation issues against constitutional rights. In Portland, Jackie Mundry, News Center, Maine.